Hey everybody, so today we're going to be looking at the iPad 7th gen. This is the a2200 and this is actually the 2019 version. It does have a cracked screen and we're just going to be replacing the screen. If it's a little bit different than the other models, the part itself does look the same, so I expect the same connections and everything, but you know it's Apple, so we'll see if there's any surprise today, but if there is, I'll show you guys anyway. So let's just get into it. So of course what you want to do first is remove the glass, and the way you do that is you just pretty much heat all the way around it. Now you always want to be careful of where that home button connection is, because we do need that home button again. So the home button connection usually goes over here, and it's usually a cable that goes up around here. And if you're not sure, you can take the one that you're going to use and kind of see where the connections are. That's always a good tip. So the new one we have here, the connections are all on the right side. And usually the home button goes usually around here on the same side as the other connections, because that's where it's going to reach. There'd be no reason for it to go all the way around like this. So we like to start by actually heating up the further side away. So you can either start this side, but just go around like this and then just kind of heat all the way around. So the last part we want to deal with is the connection area, which we have to be really careful of. Alright, so when you open it, you want to make sure you're very careful about the home button. Just make sure you can see all the connections are on this side. When you do remove it, you have to be really careful when you go on this side of the home button, because you can see the cables goes there. If you lose that, you usually lose Touch ID, and you may lose some functionality on top of that. So you want to always keep that in mind about the home button and of course the connections on the screen. So what we want to do now, of course there's still a little bit of glass even on the top here. So we want to clean that up, and then we want to safely remove the LCD. Okay, so what you want to do, we want to expose the LCD and the battery connection. So you'll see there's 4 screws. There's going to be one here, and then there's going to be 2 more. There's going to be another one down here, and then there's 2 covered by tape. So we want to make sure we're able to expose that, and we're going to lift it up a little bit, disconnect the battery, and then remove the connections. Now it is kind of difficult because you kind of have to have 3 or 4 arms here. So I'll show you what I can do. I usually lay this maybe on something on the side there to help hold it up, because you want to hold it up, and then you'll see kind of when we do the latch and everything. So once you get the screws off, so sometimes they give you a little bit of a gap here just to lift up the LCD. So get 1 or 2 wedge tools if you feel a little bit tough. I feel it's a little bit resistant, so this came up a little bit, made a little suction noise actually when I lifted it. So when you lift this up, just be careful. You can see maybe bend a little bit. Just be very careful with that. Lift it up. You can't go all the way up because, well, obviously it's connected. There's this little metal piece right up there. And all we want to do is we want to remove the screw for it. So try to get your mobile screw. Don't do what I did and get a bigger screwdriver. Just get a mobile screwdriver. A little Phillips head one. And we want to remove that so we can do this more safely. So and this is a very unique screw, very, very tiny. You can almost barely see it. Put that on the side where you don't lose it. And now you're going to say, well, the battery is up, but we want to make sure we disconnect it. There are metal contacts that go from the battery to this little board underneath there. What you want to do is you want to get underneath it just a little bit, so it gives a little bit of space. Okay, so you want to make sure you give maybe a little wedge underneath there, just so the battery's disconnected. And of course you can test it if it turns on when you press the power button or not. That's when you'll know that it's totally disconnected. You can see the LCD is connected right under here. So you want to remove this plate. There's 3 screws right there. Okay, once you get the plate, then you can reveal all the connections there. So you want to make sure you remove this one first. This is the LCD, so we can put this safely to the side. Okay, so let's do that. Here's the 2 digitizer connections. So we want to remove this whole piece here from this, and we do need that for the next screen that goes on. We'll put a little heat on it, get a wedge tool. Should come out pretty easy. There's not too much to it. Alright guys, so we did clean it all up. It's all good to go. Now what we need to do is just test the digitizer before we glue everything back on, just to make sure that it does work and everything does look good. Okay, Apple logo looks good. Okay, so it comes on, great. Okay, so it does look like it's pretty responsive. It looks pretty good here. Deleting it. Home button works fine. This is great. More and more scary things. So that's all good. So it does look all good. Touchscreen's working. Now we just need to glue it back together, make sure it all looks good, and then that'll be it. Alright guys, so that's how you repair the iPad 2019, the a2200. And nothing too tricky this time. It does look like we did a pretty good job here. It's a little bit harder sometimes to find parts. It's a little bit newer still, but it's pretty straightforward. It's kind of like the old iPad Airs. If you've ever done any of them, it's very, very similar. It's actually a little bit easier because the cable on the side, it's a little bit thinner. So when you push down on the side there to get the glue and adhesive, like on this side, it actually goes a little bit flatter, and you don't have to worry about that flap coming up and pushing up as you go. So it's not too bad of a repair. Just to make sure, you do have to keep the same home button that you had before. I would still recommend get one without the home button, because it's going to be pointless unless the home button is completely ripped and damaged that you need to totally replace it. But once you do that, you'll lose Touch ID and everything. So you do need to keep that old home button. But anyways guys, thanks a lot for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you found this very helpful, please leave a comment down below. We really do like any type of feedback you can do. We would love for you to subscribe as well if you enjoy repairs or any other videos. We really look forward to doing more in the future and other things that we can possibly do. Alright, so thanks a lot for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.